Hello everyone, little polar bear update. I decided I'm not using the third rock. It was making it look a little too busy to me. So I'm only going to use these two rocks. The polar bear is screwed down. You can see the screws in a few places here. And I got his eyes scraped off. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's do a zoom in. Move the camera on Mr. Bear's head. And let's see if you can see his eyes lighting up when I put the magnet where it belongs. I know if I do this you'll be able to see it. Yep, you can definitely see it now that I got the magnetic reed switch working. The little magnet is the switch. Let's back out so you guys can see what I'm doing. You can see as I move the magnet back and forth, the eyes light up. So we got that going. About to do the groundwork on this and then put it in the truck so it can sit in a black truck in Texas heat and dry. Like the hat? Yeah. It's been one of those days. Talk to you later. Now that you've seen my big surprise with Mr. Bear, time for me to talk about what I've been doing and show you a few things. Okay? One, homemade decal. It was my first attempt to make for the face here. It's not hiding very well and that worries me. I think it's because I put the oil paints down before I put the decal down. I should have put the decal before the oil paints. But neither here nor there. We're not going to worry about it too much. Okay? Couple of things other than that. One, I painted the birds. They're two different shades of black because I did some looking. Ravens and blackbirds are all solid black. Eyes, beaks, legs, everything. The two different colors of black help. I'm also going to hit that with a black wash in a little bit once that black paint dries up a little bit further. Another thing, you can see some droplets on his claws. Let's do a zoom in. Pick up the claws a little bit so you guys can see that. You can see right here some drops on the claws. That's actually epoxy resin. Resin. But a lot of this is not epoxy. Okay? A lot of this is not resin. What most of this is this stuff. Let me zoom this out so you can actually read what it says in the label. Liquitex Gloss Gel. Okay? I've been stuffing all the wounds with this gloss gel stuff. Not 100% dry in that one yet, but close. Let's get the camera on it. Oop, sorry about the rough transition. My tripod isn't set up 100% correctly right now, and I'm not taking the time to fix things. I'm more working than anything because the contest is almost up. I got 2 days left and I'm not done yet. But you can see inside the wound that that's giving it a very glossy look. In a few places it's not 100% dry yet, but I covered all the wounds with that stuff. So here's a good one back here. You can see that there's some clear gooey stuff right on this wound back here. Okay? You can see, let's get around to the belly. I know all you're seeing is paw right now. I'll fix that. Let's zoom this out. Okay? You can see the belly wound and the leg wound now. And I covered all that with that stuff to make it glossy looking and wet. Same thing in that leg. You can see some of the gloss and shine in there. Okay? It dries real glossy, and it's a clear gel. So sometimes it leaves some white festering looking spots. And I'm happy with how that stuff's coming out. Alright? Now let's get the bear out of the way and talk about the other bear. And what's going on there. Okay. Care Bear head. I cut it off, cleaned it up, filled it with Aves, and just did some gooey stuff hanging down from his neck. That's going to have to get painted up and cleaned up, and that'll get done in a little bit. That little guy's going to be spiked in the background. Lucky Bear, the one that got away, all I got to do is mount him on the board. And I'm going to do that by drilling a hole in his foot, sticking a rod in it, and embedding the rod in the board for the base. This is probably a good night bear. That's whose head is hanging up there. He's seen better days. We've got his legs torn off, one of his legs torn off. We got powder coming out of him. That's interesting. We got his head torn off. He needs to be mounted to the board. Again, he's stuffed full of Aves. I'm going to drill a couple holes in his back, stick him on the base. This is probably good night bear. I don't know what that is. Someone will comment and tell me. Legs removed. That's whose head is up here. Okay. This guy's head has the magnet embedded in the bottom, and that's the switch. In the back, we've got his head torn open a little bit, and I'll be painting that up real soon. And we have various legs with bones sticking out and some scarred flesh around them. What's left for me to do is mount the Care Bears on the base and start painting. That's it. Once the Care Bears are mounted and painted, this thing is done. Oh yeah, and the birds. This bird is going to get stuck on a body somewhere. And this one's just going to be on the ground next to a big blood spill. So let me get going on this, and I'll show you the results once I get them all mounted up. Folks, this thing's almost done. I just have a teeny bit more to do, and she's finished. Right now, I just touched it and I shouldn't have. But anyhow, there's this white goopy stuff all over the place on here. That's that gel compound. I'm letting it dry up. Okay? And once it's dried up, then we will be ready to add more blood. Not a lot more blood, because this thing's gotten pretty dang bloody as it is. Alright? Here we got Lucky Bear running for his life. I thought it was appropriate to use Lucky Bear for this. Okay? It's not sitting solid on the platform. Here we got Lucky Bear running for his life. Back there, you can see the Care Bear head. It's going to have goo and stuff hanging down. See, I got some goo on the polar bear's paw. We got the birds in place. I really like how those birds came out. The eyes. Well, this little Care Bear head here, let's turn the lights off, is the switch. You put the Care Bear head where the blood is spilled, and the eyes light up. I think that's pretty cool. But anyhow, I've got 2 more things to do, and this is done. Again, I gotta add more blood. I got some splatter marks and stuff all over Mr. Zombie Bear here. They're everywhere. And I want to put a dead tree right back here. And I have the dead tree, I just haven't had time to put it in. And that is the very last thing I do, because that dead tree is very fragile. I already had it one and one of my cats decided it was a play toy and destroyed it. So, again, that's the very last thing I do. But this thing is 99% complete right now. There'll be one short update, and you already saw the completed photos. So there we go. Hey folks, this one's almost done. I have one more part to do to it. I think I've had enough blood. If I had any more blood, I think I'm going to overkill this thing. Let me pull the camera off the tripod and show you what I'm doing. Back in a sec. Alright, here's Mr. Polar Bear. Zombie Bear, if you will. And I had to give him a Care Bear logo, so I picked a zombie photo. One of my students pointed out it's too high on his chest to be a Care Bear logo, like Lucky Bear here. Lucky Bear is the one who gets to run away. That's why he's Lucky Bear. You know, I don't know which one this is. I don't know which one that is. They weren't so lucky. There's pieces of them everywhere. And this bird landed for some lunch. We have a head right here with some gore coming down out of its neck and part of its backbone hanging. I thought that was a good touch. And he's got the right expression on his eyes to be hanging there dead with all sorts of stuff dripping off him. Here we have the other guy. And he is the switch for Zombie Bear's eyes. Okay? If I turn this off, you'll be able to see it better. He's the switch for Zombie Bear's eyes. I'm going to have to change the batteries out because they're not powering up the eyes as bright as I'd like. So let me put the light back on so we can see. Got another bird over here. Plenty of gore everywhere. I don't want to overdo the gore, so I'm not adding any more blood to this than what I've done. Now, that blood is interesting, and you can see some stuff dripping off a claw right there. That was actually kind of an accident. One of my cats left me some hairy presents on this bear's claws, and I started to run with it with paint. Now, some of this red is Tamiya Clear. Some of this is Citadel Blood Red. Some of it is Citadel Dark Flesh. Just a mixture, and mixing them, I was able to get some patterns like this right here, where we have different colors of red flowing. And I did that in more than one spot. I did that there. There's some of that going there. Over there where the switch is. You know, in various places I did that. The birds were painted in NATO black. And then I hit them with gloss black on their legs and the beaks and the eyes. And I came back with some Future to make them even more shinier. And they had an oil wash to bring out some of their details because they weren't doing so good without the oil wash. You couldn't see the details on the wings all that well. And these guys are actually molded up pretty good. You can tell by looking at the wings that these things are actually very well detailed. But anyhow, I've got to go. Oh, I forgot one special added thing. See that back there? Zombie bear poo. I need to paint that brown. Anyhow, one last thing. I want to put a tree right there behind the head impaled on the pole. I got to go out and dig that out of the yard. So I'll be back in a bit. And then this thing's done. I'm calling it done. Alright folks, there's the dead little tree I decided to stick in the back to give it some character. I have another one that would work. And yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick that one right there. Because this is going to add some ambience to this thing. Like someone went in this spooky forest or something. So I'm going to stick that in there. And then we can call this thing done. I will go take my photos and write up my description for the contest tomorrow on special techniques and everything else. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the videos on this one.